Hi guys, and welcome to another episode of Dial It Up. Today we're actually doing a viewer request episode, and we had someone request that I go over how to actually play Resurrection Man. Resurrection Man was one of the con exclusive prizes for this year during the convention season. And he actually was one of the purchasables during the convention season, so Jason and I managed to pick him up during Canadian Nationals back in July. He is actually one of the more fun convention pieces that came out this year. I really like using him just with these randomness that you can do, and we're going to get into that. So Resurrection Man, much like Impossible Man, who also came out during this convention season, introduced a brand new element to the game, and that is the Heroclix D20. So the D20 has many different sides on it, as you can see. And of these sides, there are colors that correspond with the pack. There are combat symbols that you would find on a dial. That's the improved symbol. We also have the boot over here. We've got the shield, the starburst for damage, the fist for attack, and then the two other sides that you have are a completely blank side and the Annie, which is, looks like it's going to be in reverse for you guys, but so getting into how to use the die. When Resurrection Man starts the game on the board, or when he is brought onto the board through his resurrection trait power, you roll this D20 4 times. And with the results, you get to assign 4 powers or abilities to Resurrection Man. So if you land on a color, a pack color, you get to pick a power from the pack to assign to him. You can put it in any slot that you would like, but you cannot put 2 powers in the same slot. So if you chose, say, the gray, the silver that's there, and decided that you wanted TK, but also rolled yellow, you cannot also have Pulse Wave. You're going to have to put that yellow into another slot. If you get any of the combat symbols, improvement, movement, attack, defense, and damage, you get to choose which combat symbols that he has. If you get the improved symbol, you get to choose either improved targeting or improved movement, and you get to choose any of the improved abilities that you would like. So you can choose improved target, ignore hindering, or improved movement, ignore elevated. So whatever you think would benefit you best in that situation. If you get the boot symbol, the speed symbol, you get to choose any of the transporters, booted transporter, wing transporter, dolphin transporter, regular wing, or regular dolphin. If you get the fist symbol, you get to choose regular fist, sharpshooter, or duo attack. Thing to note, the one option that you do not get to choose is the working together team-based circle of fists. That one is a no-no. If you get the shield, regular or indomitable, really there's no other options because you are not allowed to choose vehicle. Now with the team-based symbol and the vehicle symbol, WizKids has basically just said no. They haven't given any extensive explanation as to why you cannot choose those two. It is safely assumed that because vehicles and team bases have their own extensive rules onto themselves, that you can't just pile all those rules on top of him. That's probably the best explanation as to why you can't choose those two symbols. But like I said, nothing is official. They haven't given us anything other than no. And if you choose Starburst, regular, tiny, giant, colossal, what have you. If you get the white, that is a special power, and Resurrection Man does have his own special powers that are listed on his card, much like any other character will have a special power on their character card. So you get to choose any of the ones. He has one for each speed, attack, defense, and damage, and you get to choose which one you would like. If you happen to get the blank side, unfortunately that is a whammy. You don't get anything for that choice. If you get the Annie side, you choose whatever you like. A color, a special power, a combat ability, whatever you want to put on his dial, put on there. Now the one thing to know when rolling this, when you do roll it 4 times, they do not have to be assigned right away. So you can get a chance to roll all 4, see what you get, and then go from there. One of the common misconceptions with Resurrection Man was that you had to roll, choose, roll, choose, roll, choose. And that can kind of screw you up a little bit. So that's how Resurrection Man gets his power set. Now moving on to his dial. If you spin his dial, you will notice that once you hit click 5, there are no combat values anymore. There is a giant 2 on his dial. For anyone that used to play Heroclix, you'll remember what countdown dials are. Now, countdown dials, once Resurrection Man gets to one of these, once it is showing, he is removed from the map and put on his character card. While he is removed, you get to put a body token on the board where he died, where he used to be. You can use anything that you like. A die, a token, a dime, piece of lint out of your pocket. As long as your opponent knows that that spot is where Resurrection Man used to be, then everything's good. Now, it's important to note that this body token is just a visual placement of where Resurrection Man is going to come back on the map. It is not hindering terrain. It is not blocking terrain. It is not anything that is going to impede movement or line of sight. It is only there as a visual representation for you and your opponent to know that when Resurrection Man comes back on the board, he is going to go in that spot. To get him back on that spot, at the beginning of each one of your turns, you get to turn his dial direction that you would normally tune their dial. And you'll see that when you go from the 2, you get to a 1. On the following turn, turn it one more time, and once you see combat symbols come, or combat values come back on, then you remove the body token, put him back on the map. Once he's back on the map, roll your d20 once more, 4 more times, 4 more powers, rinse, repeat. Now the only way to actually kill Resurrection Man is to have him off of the map while the rest of his force has been defeated. That is also the only way to score him. So if he's on a team with a whole bunch of other guys and they are all defeated, he hasn't come back yet from his countdown clicks, game is over, he is defeated. If, however, he's on a countdown click and he still has people, other characters on his force, then he's going to come back. Now, Resurrection Man can be assigned anything that a regular character could be assigned. He can be assigned a resource. He can pick up a relic. He can use special objects. He can be assigned an entity. One of the important things to note when he is assigned an entity is that that link is not broken even when he is off the board. So when he's off the board on one of his countdown clicks and he starts spinning his dial with the countdown click, the entity is going to spin as well. So if he's going to land on that click 10, 11, 12, whichever is going to be a KO click for the actual entity, the entity will be removed from the game while Resurrection Man is still either on the map or on his card. He's going to come back, your entity will not. Now this is a rule that did actually get changed. It is something that I put a bit of a stink up against, is that this is the way it's supposed to be. So the current ruling is right. This is the way it should be. Entities are going to turn their dials with Resurrection Man even when he's off the map. It was a rule that had been put into place a couple of months ago, not specifically because of Resurrection Man, but with other characters when they are no longer eligible for entity possession when they change their symbols. And the initial ruling had been that when the character is no longer eligible to be possessed, the possessor doesn't spin their dial, which caused a lot of confusion and a lot of not making sense when that character is now suddenly eligible again and now their dials don't match up. So I'm actually very happy that this is one of those rules that they quietly changed without anybody knowing, so now it does make sense. And when it comes to Resurrection Man, when he's off the map, entity still moves. One more thing to note, because I forgot. This D20, it's still a die. You're still rolling dice. Which means if you happen to land on something that your opponent doesn't like, or hey, if there's something you don't like, you can prob it, because it's still a dice roll. So that was Resurrection Man. I hope you guys enjoyed our viewer-chosen topic for today. And if you have any questions, comments, anything you feel that I didn't cover, leave it below. I'll get to you as soon as I can, and we'll see you on the next time for another episode of Dial It Up.